Many of the beliefs we hold about the most effective ways to study are, in fact, entirely incorrect. What you think you know about how to learn may be misleading, because the best practices for learning are not always intuitive. Luckily, today you'll gain valuable insights into the most effective ways to study and retain information. Let's take a closer look at a fascinating study that examined different strategies for learning and how they impact memory retention and the ability to apply knowledge creatively. This study explored whether reviewing material multiple times, what we might call a repetition-heavy approach, was more effective than incorporating testing into the learning process. Participants in this study were divided into 3 groups and given the same material to study, such as passages about animals or biological concepts. The first group used a purely repetition-based method, reading the material 4 times in total. Study, 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 before taking a single test. The second group took a hybrid approach, reading the material a few times, once, twice, or 3 times, followed by a test before the final evaluation. The third group, in contrast, studied the material only once, but then completed 3 tests before the final assessment. What did the researchers find? When the groups were tested after a delay, the results revealed a clear trend. Performance on the final test was directly linked to the number of tests taken during preparation. In other words, the third group, which engaged in repeated testing after minimal studying, consistently outperformed the other groups. This result highlights the incredible power of testing as a tool for learning. Why is this the case? While it may seem logical to think that reviewing material multiple times leads to better understanding and retention, the act of testing forces the brain to retrieve and apply information, which strengthens memory pathways. This process, even if it feels challenging or frustrating, is far more effective for long-term retention than simply rereading the same content over and over. Interestingly, even when participants performed poorly on the intermediate tests, as long as they reviewed the correct answers afterward, their overall retention improved significantly. This finding suggests that testing, even when initial results are subpar, provides a critical opportunity to reinforce learning. On the other hand, those who focused solely on rereading the material often felt more confident about their grasp of the content. They believed they were well prepared for the final test, but their actual performance didn't match their expectations. Conversely, participants who took multiple tests tended to feel less confident, but demonstrated much better results on the final evaluation. This counterintuitive dynamic is one of the most striking aspects of the study. Confidence gained from rereading does not necessarily translate to true mastery. In contrast, testing, despite its inherent difficulty, creates stronger neural connections, a process known as neural encoding. The more times you challenge your brain to recall and apply the material, the more durable and flexible your memory of that material becomes. It's also worth noting that concerns about consolidating incorrect information during testing appear to be unfounded. As long as learners review the correct answers and understand their mistakes, they don't retain the wrong information. This means that even if your performance on the initial tests is less than ideal, the act of testing and correcting your answers will still lead to significant learning gains. The key takeaway is this: while studying the material is essential for initial exposure, testing yourself, or being tested by an instructor, multiple times is the most effective way to ensure long-term retention and understanding. By shifting your focus from passive review to active engagement through testing, you can transform the way you learn and retain information. It may be uncomfortable at first, but the results are worth it. Testing, not repeated rereading, is the real key to mastering any subject.